What's going on YouTube? It's Donnie Bell Day. So somebody asked me if I would review the Ka-Bar D2 Extreme, right? The Extreme fighting knife. So basically, if you look at the original Ka-Bar, right, and this isn't the original is far better than the new ones that are made today. But if you went back to like the 70s and before, those Ka-Bars are really good. This is a great hunting knife. Don't get me wrong. The steel on this knife, and this one is the, let's see, the U.S. Army version. You can see it. Where's it? And it's probably right there. U.S. Army. Everything's backwards to me, so it's a little difficult. But this is the U.S. Army version. This is 1095 steel. This one is the Dog's Head version. And this is D2 steel. I like that. I like that they use. I'm a huge 1095, but I like that they went with D2 on this. Give it a little blade option. Both of them are pretty much identical, except the guard is different. And you can obviously get this one in this crappy rubber stuff. And the pommel is different. That's really all that separates them besides the steel. This one, because of this rubber and you have a little extension here, is slightly heavier. I was eating something and it has nuts in it, so I got nuts in my mouth. But the blade length, 7 inches. Overall length, almost 12 inches. Are they the exact same? This one's slightly longer. But over 11, between 11.5 and 12 inches. Let's see, this one, Kraton, this is stacked leather. Blade width is 1.188 inches. Flat grind, butt cap, blade thickness, 0.175. All right, so they are what they are. So it's kind of hard, like, if you're going to say which one is better, it really doesn't matter. As far as fighting knives, I say neither are better. I think this is one of the worst fighting knives that people put out there, even though Ka-Bar originally didn't put it out as a fighting knife because it's an old hunting knife design. That's what they did. They took over a hunting knife mold, that's what it was, and recreated it into this. They made the blade a little bit longer and did just a very, very couple different minor things. But it's a hunting knife. That's what it is. And this, if you use as a hunting knife, is phenomenal. This, if you use as a utility knife, which is what it's called, it's actually the Ka-Bar utility. This is a great utility knife. People that think that these are like these great fighting combat knives, it's not. It's just they were historically used by Marines, and it's what they had with them. So when it came down to running out of ammo and all you have left is your knife, they would pull out their Ka-Bar and they would survive with their Ka-Bar. And because of that, people had this misconception that, oh, these are combat fighting knives. They were never combat fighting knives. They were combat utility knives made to keep you alive in the trenches, cutting open your cans, cutting rope, cutting material, doing different things to help you survive. Not just, they weren't just for body sticking. You know, when you gave you a knife, it was so you could live, not so you could fight. That's what bullets are for. But something is always better than nothing. So as far as a utility knife or a hunting knife, these things are phenomenal. Never really made as a fighting knife, and you can tell by the very poor balance because of these butt stocks and these really thin these stick tangs. The stick tangs are not very, very good on these. When people ever have problems with this knife, it's because it's going to snap right here. That's the only problems, really. Does it happen all the time? It's never happened to me. I've never had a problem with a Ka-Bar breaking, right? It doesn't break. The only problem I've had is with these guards. These guards are terrible. They're very thin. I've bent the crap out of these guards. And when you have the molded sheaths, you bend a guard, it's not going to snap back in. So you have to fix the guard to get your knife to go back in the sheath. Otherwise it sucks. So I just wanted to show you the difference before we take this thing outside and use it a little bit. the difference really, the material you can get the same, so let's cancel out the handle difference. The difference is right here and right here, the guard. This is a half guard, just has a lower guard and it's thicker. I have to say, out of the two, I prefer this guard way more, and I mean way more. This guard is so much better. Then it comes down to the pommel. I would have to say the dog's head is going to give you more to grab onto at the end. It also has a lanyard hole where this one doesn't. Doesn't really matter to me. No, I don't use a lanyard hole. But that's it. The weight is still terrible on both of them as far as balance. Now you can get both of them with this type of sheath, right? This type of sheath that I don't like. You can get them both with leather, and you can get them both with Kydex. I prefer the leather. I have all three. I still prefer the leather. So this is a used edge. This is not a brand new edge. So we're going to get out there and we're going to use it a little bit and see how well the edge works, even though it's not brand new. Let's go give it a whirl. All right, lucky me, I picked a day it's starting to rain. It's always the way. So now, I'm not sure how much he used this. This was donated to the channel. I know I used it just for throwing, and that's why it looks like that. That's wood on there. That's not the black peeling away. That's just a piece of the tree stuck to the coating. So it shows you that the coating isn't slick enough for things to fall off. I've been scraping at this, and I'm having a really hard time getting that wood off. Let's see. Oh, I have this in my pocket today, and if anybody follows my channel, you know I hate this knife. I hate it. This is Off Grid, who I love, who this knife right here is built like a little tank. It's amazing, amazing build quality. I'm never going to argue that. I just hate this little thing. But I tell you guys all the time, I use my knives. So I have to make sure that it ends up in the rotation at some point, and that's where it is. And let's see if I can scrape off some of this wood. Yeah, you can feel the texturing on there, and that's why it's not going to be as slick. Like some texturing, wood doesn't stick to it. It just comes right off. And when you're talking about a utility knife and this knife and that knife, you don't want texturing where things are going to stick to it to where you have to scrape it off with another knife, because if it's your food knife and you're this knife and that, you want it clean. But I was going to say, let's take it out and show you in the sunlight how good this thing looks, but we don't have any sunlight, and well, so that's it. So overall, aesthetically, I'm not crazy about the look. The look never really did anything for me, except the original with the leather stacked handles. I think looks beautiful, especially in the Big Brother form. I think the Ka-Bar Big Brother with leather stacked handles is a great looking knife. It's just done well as far as aesthetics. These ones, not so much. All right, let me adjust you guys. All right, let's do a few 4-foot drops. 4 feet between the tip and the stump, and we're going to test balance and how it falls. And it's only 4 feet, so it's not that bad. And we are going to see gravity bite. I just put it down, and look, I have stuff stuck to it. And it's just, I wish the coating, like if I do this, I can feel drag. If I rub my thumb on it, see how slow my thumb is going instead of, well, this is rubber, so instead of this, see, this is, well, that's still pretty tacky too. But there's just far too much drag. But it's a soft stump, so the bite isn't accurate. But you can see with a tapered tip, and that's what it is, it's swedged, that you're going to get exceptional bite out of this. Exceptional, no matter what. And I think that that's really good to make it a sticker, but it was also good for opening cans and things like that, which is what it was designed to do. You hear that? So I mean, it's gonna be a pretty strong knife. Like I said, it is a stick tang, and like I also said, I have never accidentally broken a Ka-Bar tang ever. So you're gonna see a lot of people knock them for those tangs. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had that issue. Now I know that all my Ka-Bars have come to me really sharp, really sharp. So I guarantee you, out of the box, this was razor sharp. Let's see what we have here. We're going to do a 1/2-inch nylon cut, and that push cut is so super clean. Look at that rope. The knife dug itself in. It's a Ka-Bar. That's what it's made to do. It's made to be sharp, and it's made to cut, right? We got the extension cord, And that is not going to be any problem at all. Are you going to find a problem from the little wires cutting up the edge? No, you will not, because it's a K-bar. They heat treat really well, and they use good steel. That's what K-bar does. Do they design good stuff? Not really. Most of their stuff, the handles are awful. On most K-bars, I'll say it, their handle department people absolutely are terrible at their jobs. They suck. So let's do a little bit of this kitchen prep test. And look, I mean, it's just, no matter what, you're getting that K-bar hit, and that's going to work. No matter whatever I say bad about K-bar, and I'm very honest when it comes to my knife reviews. If I have something negative to say, I'll say it. But I'll never deny that these things freaking work. They work no matter what. If you hate K-bar, which I don't, if you hate K-bar, you cannot hate the fact that you're going to get stuff done with it. You can't. You can't deny the fact that if you need to cut that, that gets cut, right? If you need it to survive doing this, it's going to survive doing that. I didn't even put anything into it. That's a little better right there. Now, this is the partially serrated, and they're the round serrades, which means they're not going to dull on you. Those are well done. Would I prefer a flat edge? Yeah, but on something like this where I have this much extra flat edge compared to, you know, what's there for the serration, I'm fine with that. I'm really fine with that. Let's see here. Feathering, things like that. It's just super, super easy because they have good edge profiling. I think that's done really well. We can do the serrated part, and serrated parts for this is usually better on a pull, and it's just going to shred. So that's going to work out really good. Notching, I can use my serrations to cut myself a nice little square notch here and finish it off with the edge and get a really nice little notch. As far as your hunting / camp blade, I think this is an absolute excellent option for that. I think it's an excellent option. Would I choose this knife ever as my combat knife? Absolutely not. No way. Never would this be my my option for a combat knife. These dogs have been going mental under this log. I'm assuming some kind of rabbit or something lives under there, because it's every day they come out here and go nuts. I'm gonna have to bring out the chainsaw, cut that son of a bitch open and see who's living in there. All right, so let's do a little chopping with this thing and see how that goes. Now, because this has the bird's head, I do have a little bit something extra to grab on there. So, dog's left me a landmine right there. So from here, what I'll do is I'm gonna put my middle finger on the dog head, leave my ring finger on the outside of it, and just kind of okay grip it. Because it's only a 7-inch blade, it's not gonna be your built chopper. That's not what it's made for, but it's still gonna get the job done, right? You can see that pieces are just flying everywhere. Now, I do have to say that that is crazy uncomfortable right there. It's tearing my finger up, but if I went here, I hit that little thing. If I go here, I'm not getting any power, and the chopping sucks. You need to be near the end to get a good swing. But I have to say, which I didn't think, the other K-bar, because it's round here, was way more comfortable to do chopping with. It's not as sturdy. You don't have as much to grab onto with the other one. Wow. So I have to say, which I didn't think, I have to say the other one was way better for something like that. This, I thought I was going to like more than I do. So far, I'm not a fan of that. You know, when you hold it this way, it's good. When you hold it this way, it's good. I mean, your hand's not going to slip off of it stabbing into something, but your hand goes down. This way, stabbing into something, your hand goes forward. So really, it would just be in this motion that this matters. And I don't really, I mean, you're not doing this unless it's a slash, but then you have this counterweighting this. I don't know. It's just bad. So it's just the problem is the design. It's just a bad design. But can you still chop with it? Yeah. Does it hurt like hell? Yeah. Not the best knife for that. Still a hunting knife though. If you're taking apart a deer, you might be very, very happy with this knife. So here you go. We're more feathering. It's just on different wood, right? It's good. Let's see if we can't just chew through some stuff here. We'll show you the strength. And I tell you all the time, the tangs, when people have problems, they have problems with the tang. I don't know what they're doing to break it. I honestly don't. And I could sit here and even if I didn't like Ka-Bar, I can try to make an excuse. This is really crappy wood, but we'll hit something better also. I can try to figure out what they're doing to break it, but it's got to be something really stupid, because I mean, I hit these things all the time. This is a little better piece. I hit these things all the time, and never have I had an accidental. Ooh, that's some nice fat wood right there. Never have I had an accidental break, ever. So if I wanted to make kindling and I wanted to use it as a camp knife, and if I wanted to go ahead and do stuff like that, it's fine. It's gonna work. It's gonna work all the freaking time. Your pommel is held on. There should be a little pin. I don't see it, unless it's underneath here, underneath this rubber. But normally you have a little pin sticking through there to hold this on, because you can see the end of your tang right there. That's literally the end of your tang. And this skinny little thing, I'm not a fan of how they do that. I am not a big fan of stick tangs in general, but is what it is. The knife still works. If I hold it from here like a traditional fighting knife, and I do that, right, it's all over the place. I mean, I could try and make it look easy and get it done. I can do like a multiple in both directions, but it's kind of wobbly. And if you have ever practiced with fighting knife techniques, you'll know the difference when you feel it. But I don't know, it's just not that good, but we do have something to do. All right, I got this thing all set up. Now, this thing in no way, shape, or form is a throwing knife. Like, this would never be your dedicated throwing knife. It's just not made for it. But if you throw knives, you can definitely know where to go, how far back you need to be on something like this before you can start like just getting it to stick. Even though it's not a throwing knife, if you practice with any knife, you're going to be able to throw with it. This one, I mean, for me, is kind of easy because I've had Ka-Bar for a long time. So it's just knowing where to stand. My stance on this over, like, especially like a throwing buoy, is, I mean, way different. I'd be farther back, but it's just, you can see this is like they're dead straight. I'm hitting inside the chest every time, and people that watch my videos, they see this, and people always say, oh yeah, well, you just barely hit it, why don't you hit a target? All right, do you see this? This is the width of my shoulders, and I broke the bark away from my head height. So that spot right there, that whole spot, that whole spot right there is my size. So that target is basically throwing at myself. So if I hit a knife here and people say, oh yeah, you barely hit it, that's catching me in the oblique. That's a hit. And I'll tell you what, if it hits a liver, that's one of them slow deaths. So I get people all the time, oh yeah, but that was a terrible throw because it hit a target my size. I don't know, if I get attacked by me, I'm killing it straight up. I don't know. So So the Ka-Bar D2 Extreme, do I like it any more or any less than the other one? No. Do I think that this is some great combat fighting knife? No. Do I think that this is a survival knife? There's your thing right there. And the thing about that is, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, let me adjust this. It's supposed to be a survival knife. The problem is, it's billed as, and not so much from Ka-Bar themselves. I don't know if their website calls this a fighting knife. I think they just say the Extreme. And if so, then kudos to them for doing it right, because it's not a fighting knife. It's just not. Can you fight with it? Of course you can. Cavemen took down woolly mammoths with pointy sticks. So people say, oh, it's not a fighting knife. People killed people with this knife. Of course. People kill people with rocks. People kill people with baseball bats. If I went to Vietnam with a baseball bat, and everybody in my unit had baseball bats, and we rushed a little village and we started killing everybody with baseball bats. Are they combat baseball bats? Are they fighting baseball bats? No. It's a baseball bat you made combat with, that you fought with, and that's it. So people have this crazy mental issue, especially around these knives, because there's so many like hardcore, it's a Ka-Bar, the Marines did it, and blah, blah. I don't care. My grandfather killed 13 people with a Ka-Bar. First of all, no he didn't. Second of all, who cares? It doesn't matter. My caveman ancestors killed 50 people with a pointy stick. What do you want? So don't go for the whole, oh, it's combat, blah, blah, blah. You know what this is? This is a great survival knife. It's a great survival knife. You can literally go to a campsite and live with this knife. Would I chop with it? No. What I would do is, if I needed to break down some logs, I would do angle, boop, 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 batoning, angle, batoning, angle, batoning. And that's how I would get through my logs. I wouldn't, A, waste my energy, because now the more energy I waste, the hungrier I'm going to be later. And B, I'm not going to waste the edge all over the place, hitting it in multiple areas. No, I'm going to pick one area, and I'm going to baton on that one area, saving my edge in others places, and not worrying about being wang-danged all over the place. And I'm not going to kill my fingers on this stupid thing. So yeah, if you're looking for a knife like this, and you're going to get a lot of these questions, oh, is it good for self-defense? Of course it's good for self-defense. It's got a pointy end. So, yes, it's good for self-defense. Does that make it a fighting knife? No. Can you fight with it? Yes. Stupidest questions come out. The stupidest questions come out. But here's the deal. If you want a really good survival knife, and if you plan on using it as a survival knife, if you want to open up a can of beef ravioli while you're on the trail, it's a good knife. It's a really good knife for all that. So, Ka-Bar, the utility style, whether it's doghead, whether, however they want to call it, the Extreme, because they changed these two pieces, so now it's an Extreme. You went from a skinny guard and a skinny pommel to a fatter pommel and a fatter guard, and it became Extreme. I don't understand that, but what I will tell you is, I know I can survive with this knife, 100%. Any day of the week, stick me in the woods, leave me alone. And if this is the only knife I have on me, I can survive with it. I would like it way more than this stupid thing right here. But I don't know, that's it for that. And I'll tell you what, if I have to hit a squirrel or something, I know I could throw it. And it's not made to be a thrower, just like it's not made to be a fighter. But even though it's not a throwing knife, I can still throw it. Even though it's not a fighting knife, I can still defend myself. It's just the way it is. All right, so that's it for this one. Hi, I'm Donnie B all day. Until next knife.